Okay, welcome everybody. This is CSIS-3020 Web Programming and Design. This is week 2, second video lecture. What I want to do now is create my project. And this is something that I expect you guys to do within the next week so you can actually submit it by next week. Okay? How do you do that? From Eclipse, you right click and say New. And it's going to be not a PHP project, okay? But it's going to be some other kind of project. So you will be presented with a wizard that has many types of projects. One of which is the static web project. That's the one that I want you guys to use. Okay? And you will give it a name. So in my case, I'm going to call it Timex. That's the website that I'm building. And I'm going to call it web because it's going to be static. Later on, who was using it? Who is using it? Somebody's using that file. Oh, yep, you're right. I'm using it. Let me get rid of it. Alright. So I'm going to call it Timex Web to differentiate it from the Timex PHP that I'm going to be building later on. Okay? So this Timex Web is going to be the project that I'm going to be working on the next 6 weeks. 6, 7, 8 weeks. Okay? The project location, just keep it the default, which is under Sites, the workspace. No target runtime, default configuration is fine. You click on Next, and then you will specify the context root. The context root, it's what you guys have to type in the browser in order to hit this website. Okay? So it's going to be some kind of HTTP, whatever domain. Usually it's localhost because it's locally on your PC. But this is going to be the context root. It's going to be the name of your project. So typically just keep it the same as the name of your project, Timex Web. And then the web content folder will be web content. You can change it if you want. I don't recommend it. Okay? But this is going to be the folder under your project where all the HTML and all the images and all the cascading style sheets will live. Got it? You click on Finish, and here it is. Do you want to open this perspective now? Notice that it said, I noticed that this is a regular static web project. Okay, and there is a perspective that shows web projects much better than the current perspective. Say yes. Switch to that perspective now. And notice that we have a different perspective now. It's called the web perspective. Okay? it has a different set of windows and arrangement of sections. Okay. Hey, why did it call it web? Timex web. Did I mess up my? Yeah, I did. Let me rename it. Refactor, rename, Timex web. Okay, there it is. So notice that this is an empty project. What does it have? It has just some JavaScript resources. Don't worry about that. We're going to be covering JavaScript a week from now. And then it has the web content. It has the web content folder. This is where you will put your index. Okay? So you go ahead and download your template. And your template has an index, right? So you just put your index under web content. And then you open your index. Is that too small for you guys? Okay. In Eclipse, you can go to Windows Preferences and modify that. So under Appearance, Colors and Fonts, there's a section called the Basic Text Font, and you can increase the size to 12. Is that better? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is HTML. Okay. Now, what's the really cool thing about using Eclipse when you're editing your HTML? HTML has this, when you go into the starting tag, it will highlight it, and it will also highlight the matching ending tag. Remember, in HTML, as far as the well-formed HTML, every starting tag must have a matching ending tag, right? So in this case, the head tag has a /head tag. The /, as you will very well might guess, is the ending one. Okay? And anything that you put between the starting and the ending is the content of that tag. Okay? So in this case, if we go into the body, you will see that the body is matched all the way down there. So everything between the body tags is the content of the page. Okay? And then we go into our header. See this division? The ID is header. So you're looking at the code, the exact same code that we were looking in Firebug. Okay? Now you're going to say, but wait a minute, what is an HTML? What is a body? What is a div? What is all this stuff? Like I said, I covered that in the 2 video lectures, but there's no way that I'm going to be able to cover every single tag in HTML in this class. So I expect you guys to either read it from the book, and still the book, I'm not sure that it covers all of them, but what you guys can do is you can go to W3 Schools. W3 Schools is probably one of the original websites that offer full documentation on HTML tags. Okay? And it has several courses. Okay? They're not truly courses, they're more like documented. But the very first one is one of the original ones. offered by w3schools.com, and it's how to learn HTML. Okay, there's a whole bunch of other ones. Just go into the Learn HTML, and you will see, you guys will see where are you? You will see all the HTML text categorized but this one, the tag HTML page, you can actually see all the HTML tags that are part of HTML4. Not 5, 4. We're going to cover in 5 towards the end. Okay? This is about 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages. It's about 60 or 70 tags. Okay? That's a lot of tags to be covering in one class. So what I suggest you do is you go to W3 Schools, click on each one of the tags, okay? And it will tell you, tag A is an anchor. What is the purpose of tag A? Is a tag supported in all major browsers, and it will tell you all the major browsers that support it, and it defines a hyperlink, which is used to link from one page to another. Okay? You want to try yourself? You can click on Try Yourself, and you will see, you will get a new page. You will get the code on the left-hand side, and you will get the rendered code on the right-hand side. So try yourself. Visit google.com, and you change the href, that's the property of the anchor, to www.google.com. You submit the code, and here it is. This is your code rendered. You can actually go ahead and click on it, and you will be taken to google.com. Anchor. And just like Anchor, there are 70 other tags that you can play with. Try yourself and find out what they're for. The video lecture that I share with you guys cover around 20 of the most important ones. Please watch that video lecture, download the code, which I'm also sharing with you, and play with it. It's the only way that you're going to get familiar with it and learn from it. Any questions? The other really cool thing about Eclipse is IntelliSense. You do control space inside a tag, and it will give you all the properties that you can add to that particular tag. Okay? So, in this case, look at all the stuff that you can put inside a div. In this case, we have only used one property, ID. What's the ID of this divisional tag? Header. Okay? Any questions so far? No questions? Okay, so I'm going to finish importing my template. What else did my template had or included? The license. You can take that apart and exclude it if you want to. It's just a text file saying, you know, this is free. Just make sure you don't. This is the license. I'm sorry? All right. Thank you for the good news. My video uploaded. That means that now if I just provide this link in my Moodle, you guys should be able to view it. That's really good news. Thank you. I want you guys to try it and let me know if it works for you or not. So I'm providing the YouTube equivalent. It's low quality. They probably do some kind of... I'm sorry? So I'm going to add the URL. Okay. I guess nobody has joined, so I'm just going to cut the join me. Yes, exit. So I'm going to make this video lecture available through YouTube. Okay. And this is what it's about. I'm going to say embedded. Let's try the embedded one, okay? See if it displays nicely embedded within Moodle. If it doesn't, then we'll try something else. Alright, so it's available for you guys to take a look at it on YouTube. And you let me know if it works for you or not. Okay, so what was I saying? I cannot remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, okay. Thank you. So you can take out the license, just include the index. Oh, and the default Cascading style sheet, right? So you take that file and you copy it and paste it inside the web content. Okay? So now at this point, you can actually take the index within Eclipse. You guys are aware that Eclipse has its own web browser, right? Eclipse has a very old archaic Mozilla browser. So you can open it with the web browser inside. It doesn't always... Okay, what am I missing here? The images. Aha. Very good point. So I grab the images folder from my template and put it under my web content. And now I refresh. Got my images. Okay. This is the plain vanilla Latin content that you have to start from. Okay. And at this point, you're going to have to start putting your content. So I'm going to show you what I change between one or the other. Okay. So I'm going to compare that index HTML from my plain vanilla, and I'm going to compare it to my customized version. And as you can see, well, I just got rid of this comment about this H Beauty version 1, whatever. You see the title? It was H Beauty. I changed it to Online Timesheet System. The tags are timesheet. The content, this is Timex, the Online Timesheet System, which they didn't have any meta tags or description or keywords or whatnot, right? Instead of saying H Beauty here in bold, that's what the B tag stands for. In an anchor, what do I have? Timex. Okay? The Online Timesheet System. What about this menu? Notice that they have under the menu, browse our collection, get customer support, blah, blah. I have customized it to my menu. And my menu is the login, the registration, contact us, and help. Because that makes sense to my project, my theme. Okay? What else? Where it says, we see Messina, Legula, blah, 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 just a whole bunch of Latin, that is content under sample 1. I change it to managers. Managers is one of my entities, one of the important players in my system. Okay? So I'm starting to provide content for the managers and content for the hourly employees. You guys get the point? All right. And then the copyright H Beauty, blah, 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 we're going to make it to 2012 Timex Online Timesheet System. So like 2013. Okay? At this point, I have touched the content. The content is customized for my needs. I still have the look and feel from the template. Okay, so I take that one and modify it to my needs. I think I copied the wrong stuff. Paste. Okay, what happened here? Okay, now another thing that I have done is, and I want you guys to start separating the content into its own folders. So if you have images, don't put it under web content. Create a folder called images and put it under the image folder. If you have a cascading style sheet, Don't put it under the web content. Put it under style sheets or styles. So you're going to create a folder, a new folder under the web content called styles. Okay? And then you're going to take that default CSS and put it there. Okay? And if you have some JavaScript, which eventually you're going to do later on, you will put it under a folder called JavaScript. Okay? Now, when you do that, your images might not work. See that? Why aren't the images working anymore? Because of the path, right? Now, the style is under a folder called styles. And the default CSS is the one that has a reference to the images. So you're going to have to open the Cascading style sheet and modify it. So ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Cascading style sheets. As you guys can see, and there's going to be a separate video lecture about what is a Cascading style sheet, all the different types of styles that you can apply, etc., etc. I'm not going to explain right now, so don't worry if you don't understand it right now. But basically, is a file that contains a whole bunch of attributes for tags with specific values. A whole bunch of attributes for tags that have specific values. Okay? When you modify the values of those attributes, when you render your page, it will change absolutely everything. The behavior, the look and feel, and all that stuff. So if you guys go into title, for instance, you will find there's a URL to images. So what you have to do is you have to put in there, find it under the folder called images, and it's called image 4. Find it under the folder called images. So before that, it will look for an images folder in the same folder where default CSS was. Now default CSS is not under the web content, it's under styles, and you will not find images under styles. You will find it above it. So these are little things that you might encounter that you don't know what's going on. You'll drive you crazy trying to figure out what's wrong. Now at this point, you know, I noticed that I have done many changes on this thing. So I'm just going to do a global change. That makes more sense, right? This is how you do it in Eclipse. Eclipse has something called find, Control F, find. You want to find all the images slash and replace them with slash images slash. Okay? And you can go one by one or you can replace them all. So replace, 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 and it will go through the entire. There you go. Now you save it. Oops. Got the wrong one. It's not rendering. Anybody knows what's going on? Okay. So Timex Web must have a folder called images. Is that correct? I don't see an images folder in under Timex Web. I see it under web content. So how about if we do this? Didn't like that, obviously. So in the parent folder, look for a folder called images, and in there you will find the image. Yes, parent meaning dot meaning parent folder. Okay? So you know what happened there, right? The reference is from a folder called default CSS. Where is default CSS? Under styles. So the URL for the image is changed in the sense that say, okay, from here, go to the parent. Who is the parent? Web content. Under there, you will find a folder called images. There it is, images. Under there, you will find the image called image 3. There it is. Got it? So it changed from images / whatever to / images. All right? So here it is. This is what I expect you guys to turn in for next week. Now I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to play around a little bit with the cascading style sheet, so you guys get the look and feel, which we have already. But notice that in the page we have something called the width. You guys remember where is the page? Okay, so let's find it. Where is the page? Here is the page. So there is a div called the page. So in the default cascading style sheet, you'll find #page refers to that tag. The tag whose name is page. And even though we didn't specify in here anything, no attribute whatsoever in this div, when you apply this cascading style sheet, you're telling it, hey, I want this div to be width 760 pixels, to have a 0 automatic margin around it, to have a background image from here, repeating in the Y coordinate. I want to have a border top of 1 pixel with this color, which is, what color is that? What color is 0000000? Black, absence of color. What color is that? F. White. It's all the colors, right? And you can do a variation of it. And then a border, a button border of 1 pixel with white. Can you put what? Yes, you can. That's an attribute of a style. We'll do it in a second. So suppose that you want the width to be wider, so 1000 pixels. You save it and you render it. This is your page at 1000 pixels. Now what happened there? Yeah, the content is like really fat, right? And the header stays skinny still. So somehow you're going to have to affect the header as well. And somewhere in here, there's got to be a pound header. I think it's... There it is. Where you also have to modify the width to 1000. So that it looks like this. You. And then you start playing with it, right? Now you can do it with an Eclipse. So one by one, you change one of the attributes and you start refreshing. Or, guess what? Remember the one tool that I asked you to use? Firebug? Where's my sites? Sites, Timex Web, Web Content, Index. Hello. Alright, this is the messed up one, right? You can go and open Firebug. Point to the header. Here it is, the header. And look at this. It will show you the actual style being applied to the header. See this? This is the image for the background. This is the border. And guess what? Literally, manually, you can modify it live. And you can customize it however you want it. Okay? Now, just don't refresh it, because bye-bye, there goes your changes, right? But once you change it, you can actually go in here, highlight everything, Control A, right? And then copy it and paste it where you can save it. Okay? So play with it. Change the images, change the style. I know that you might not know everything that you need to know about styles yet. And that's what we're going to be covering next week. I'm going to make available 2 more videos that will cover styles for next week. Okay? But don't be afraid with playing with it. Okay? Now, you can also, instead of using Eclipse, you can also change the content in here. So, let's say you want to change this content right here. This is a paragraph. It says Timex is an online timesheet system that is really cool live. You see the changes. Okay? You see the changes live. So play with it. Don't be afraid of playing with it. You can literally, instead of using Eclipse, you can go ahead and use Firebug and modify it or whatnot. Give you a really quick start on what kind of content you want to see here and there. And then copy it and paste it in Eclipse. And then work from there. So what's due for next week? Has anybody read the book? Okay. Up to this point, you should already be in chapter, I think it's 5. Okay? The stuff that is in the book, you will find it in Moodle. And I think I already mentioned this to you. Here. So you don't have to type the code that is in the book. You just download this Untitled textbook source code unzip it, and it will unzip literally chapter per chapter all the HTML. And all you have to do is, just like I did with my age beauty template, just copy and paste it and drop it into Eclipse, and you can actually see every single example working. Okay? If you do that, you will be much more prepared for next week. For next week, I'm going to assume that you guys have watched my HTML videos and my Cascading Style Sheet videos. That you have read chapters 4 and 5, which cover HTML and Cascading Style Sheet. And be prepared, because we're going to start doing JavaScript right away. Okay? In the meantime, you and I are going to be collaborating on the wiki. If you haven't narrowed down your problem statement, you're going to hear from me. And I want you to start building your home page. Create a snapshot, put it in the wiki. Have I gone through the process of how to do that? Yes? No? You guys remember? Yeah. You create a UI sketches page, right? When you click in there, what are you going to see? A whole bunch of other pages. Right? These are the pages. Literally. Login. How do you create a login? Square bracket, login, close square bracket, close square bracket. That's it. Right? So when I click on login, I'm taken to another page. And what does this page have? It has a version 1 and a version 2. And some of you will go through 2 versions of your snapshots. Okay? This is my first version of the login. Ugly, simple. And this is the second version with my template applied and everything. Okay? How do you create something like this? Well, notice that this is a table. Has a table with 2 rows. The first row has version 1, version 2, 2 columns. And then the second row contains pictures. How do you add a picture? You just go into the cell and you say, insert an image. Now, at this point, you will upload an image of the snapshot of your page rendered in browser. So you have come up to a point where you have your page finished. Okay? You want to take a snapshot of this. Control print screen. In most computers. Then you edit whatever. Use some image editor. I mean, you can use Paint for all I care. Okay? You open Paint, and then you just paste it. And then just take that snapshot, cut it, okay, and paste it. Save it as a JPEG, PNG, whatever. Okay? This is my home page rendered in the browser. Save it as an image, and then in the wiki, man, my computer is just halting. you just pick that image and upload it. Okay? And it will be put in that column, row that you specify. So if you take, literally, if you take a look at the HTML version of this page, and I know this is, a little bit getting ahead of myself for some of you. This is a table with a table body, with a table row. Inside a table data, you will put version 1. Inside the next table data, you will put version 2. Here's the end of the table, first table row. Here comes the second table row. And the first table data in that row is this image. This image is the first version, this guy, the first version of my snapshot. Then the second table data is another image. And this is all uploaded images. And this image is the second version of my snapshot. Got it? That's what's due next week. Any questions? Just homepage. No. Homepage. What happened to it? This guy. Homepage. Which is what? It's your template customized to your theme, to your content. This is what your users are going to see when they first hit your website. Okay? So try to put meaningful content in there. Please watch the videos. I'm serious. In the videos, I cover each one of the HTML tags, first 20 or so. I'm not going to cover all 70 of them. That's up to you to go into W3 Schools on your own time and look for that stuff. And has anybody tried my YouTube video? Did that work? I'm curious to see. All right, so no questions? I'll see you guys next week.